Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. Today's video will be covering the switch from Ethereum mining to Ethereum Classic mining. Before we start the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because I'm trying to hit 1000 subscribers before the end of the year, and like the video to support the YouTube algorithm. So we all know the Ethereum merge is coming in a few days and many miners will be switching from Ethereum to Ethereum Classic to keep mining. Well, I'm going to be diving into this switching of coins to see which graphics card performed the best and what profitability is compared to Ethereum. Then I'll be going over ASIC miners for Ethereum Classic that can potentially switch over if they receive firmware updates. So let's start off with the most efficient cards for Ethereum Classic. So if you're thinking that Ethereum Classic is the best long-term shot for mining, then you'll want the most efficient cards for your rigs. There's a few options that we'll go over each one now. First, I want to start with the RTX 3060 Ti. On Ethash, you can expect around 60 to 65 megahash depending on the overclocks used and the memory type of the card. Typically, it consumes around 120 to 130 watts, depending on the power limit of the card. This gives us an efficiency of 0.5 megahash per watt. This is a great efficiency as many cards tend to be around 0.3 megahash per watt. So on the Ethereum network, you can expect to make around $1.30 in revenue per day. Obviously, this amount does not factor in electricity costs, but gives an overall revenue. This amount is also varying depending on the price of Ethereum at the time. Now, when we look at the profits from Ethereum Classic, we can see a revenue of around 70 cents. This means you're taking a 46% hit in revenue when switching from Ethereum to Ethereum Classic. The next card on the list is the RTX 3070. On Ethash, you can expect around 60 to 65 megahash again. However, this card consumes slightly less energy than the 3060. It has a power draw between 110 watts and 120 watts. This gives a higher efficiency of 0.54 megahash per watt. As I said, these numbers will vary for overclock settings as well. On Ethereum, you can expect a revenue of $1.30, and on Ethereum Classic, when you switch, you can expect a revenue of 70 cents. The same as the 3060 Ti, but the efficiency will be lower for electricity costs. Normally, I'd stick to having Nvidia rigs separated from AMD cards, just because it makes it easier to configure for one type of card. Next card on the list is the Radeon 6800. These cards have been very efficient for a while now, and we'll see this in the figures. You can push this card to around 68 megahash using overclocks, and it pulls in around 105 watts. This gives an efficiency of 0.64 megahash per watt. On Ethereum, you can expect to make around $1.50 in revenue, and when mining on Ethereum Classic, you can expect to make 80 cents. The next card is also an upgraded version of this card, that being the Radeon 6800 XT. You can push this card with overclocks to 70 megahash with a power draw of 105 watts. This makes it slightly more efficient than the 6800 at an efficiency of 0.645 megahash per watt. On Ethereum, you can expect to make around $1.60 per day, and when you switch to Ethereum Classic, you can expect to make 85 cents per day. Now, the last card I would recommend for efficiency is the A2000 from Nvidia. These cards don't necessarily bring in the most per day, but they are super efficient and can have copper mods to make the efficiency higher as well. You can get up to around 50 megahash and a power draw of only 72 watts. This gives it the highest efficiency of any card on the market at 0.71 megahash per watt. On Ethereum, we can expect a revenue of 84 cents per day, and then when we switch, we can expect a revenue of 45 cents per day. So not the greatest revenue, but definitely the best efficiency. So the list of efficiency goes like this: the A2000 at the top at 0.71, the Radeon 6800 XT at 0.645, the Radeon 6800 at 0.64, the RTX 3070 at 0.54, and then the RTX 3060 Ti at 0.5. And then if we switch that round to the revenue per day list, we can see that the Radeon 6800 XT has around $1.60 for Ethereum and 85 cents for Ethereum Classic. The Radeon 6800 is at $1.50 for Ethereum and then 80 cents for Ethereum Classic. The RTX 3070 is at $1.30 for Ethereum and 70 cents for Ethereum Classic. The same goes for the RTX 3060 Ti. And then we have the A2000 at the bottom with 84 cents for Ethereum and 45 cents for Ethereum Classic. So overall, I'd suggest whatever rig that you make in the future has a mix of these cards. If you can get a hold of all A2000 cards, it would be best because of their high efficiency is much higher than the rest of the cards on the market. So when switching, we're going to see a substantial decrease in profits from Ethereum to Ethereum Classic. This is expected just because Ethereum has a more sustainable price, which allows for mining profits. Also, if Ethereum Classic turns out not to be the best coin, these cards will outperform many other cards on the network because of their efficiency. Coins like Flux, Ergo, Ravencoin will be easy to switch over to and make profits using these cards. Next, I want to talk about ASIC mining for Ethereum Classic. There are many types of ASICs on the market, but we aren't sure about the switch from Ethereum to Ethereum Classic for these ASICs. This would require a firmware update for these ASIC miners. Let's start off with the Antminer E9. This currently can only mine Ethereum and makes a large profit on the network. However, Bitmain have said that they will be releasing an update which will allow this ASIC to switch over to Ethereum Classic. The profit per day on this miner is $56 per day, but when it switches, it will probably see a decrease of around 50% in profits. We're looking at a profitability of $25 per day if you are able to switch over to Ethereum Classic. I believe this would be the highest hash rate from any ASIC miner on the market. The only downside is the price. As of right now, you can buy one of these for around $12,000, which means the ROI on this ASIC will be around 1 year after it switches to Ethereum Classic. It's also the loudest miner available. The next ASIC is the iPollo V1 Classic. Most iPollo miners tend to produce very good profits, and right now it sits at the top of the profit list for Ethereum Classic ASICs. It brings in $15 a day in profits, but the iPollo team have said they have no plans to make the iPollo miners switch to Ethereum. The top iPollo miner on Ethereum does a profit per day of $73, which when switched over could produce profits of around $40 per day. The big factor is the price of this miner. Although the V1 Classic brings in $15 a day on Ethereum Classic, it's a very steep price point, which is at $8,000 per miner. For the profit it makes, that gives an ROI of around a year and a half. This is more than that of the Antminer E9, but if you have less to spend, you could go with the V1 Classic. Lastly, we have a range of ASICs from Jasminer. This is the X4 series. All of these miners can switch from Ethereum to Ethereum Classic, so the transition will be easy for any of these miners. The most profitable is the X4, which is the main one. This can bring up to $53 per day on Ethereum and $25 per day on Ethereum Classic. However, the price of these are way too high right now at $20,000 per miner. This price needs to come down a lot more before it be viable to return on investment. Right now, the ROI for the X4 on Ethereum Classic sits around 2.5 years. That's a long time to ROI for a miner. The next in the X4 series is the X4 1U. This is a relatively cheap miner compared to the X4 with a price point of $3,500. It has a smaller profitability of $5 per day on Ethereum Classic. This makes the ROI a bit longer because it's such low profits. Right now it would take a year and a half to ROI on this miner. Because it's way cheaper than the X4, it's a good pick for someone looking to get into mining on a smaller scale. The next ASIC from the X4 series is the X4 Brick. This is a very small miner and it's basically the entry level into ASIC mining on Ethereum Classic. This little miner can only bring in 66 cents per day in profits, but this is because of its small hash rate of 65 megahash. This is around about the same as an RTX 3060 Ti, but this miner is way more efficient than the RTX 3060 Ti. It has a price point of $700, which gives it an ROI of only 15 months. Definitely a good entry into ASIC mining, but also a way to keep mining Ethereum Classic when the merge hits. The last miner in the series is the X4Q. This is an in-between of the X4 and the X4 1U. Currently brings in around $11 per day in profits and costs around $7,500 per miner. The ROI is a bit longer at 18 months, but still can produce good profits. So we've covered the possible ASICs that will be able to mine Ethereum Classic. If you have the money, I'd go for an iPollo V1 Classic. Then if you don't have that much to spend, you could probably go with a Jasminer X4 1U or the Jasminer X4 Brick. Moving on from ASICs, I want to talk about the hash rate migration in terms of how much Ethereum Classic can support and how much I think will hit the network. Now the current network hash rate on Ethereum Classic is sitting at around 50 terahash. The main Ethereum network has around 900 terahash to be diluted into other coins. Ethereum Classic will be the main choice for many miners, but it can't sustain a certain amount of hash rate at the price it is at now. With a price of $30 per coin, it means that the network can only sustain around 120 terahash for GPU miners to be profitable. But for ASIC miners, it would be in the range of around 350 terahash before it becomes unprofitable for ASICs. Now, with Ethereum having 900 terahash, we'll probably see around 500 of this hit the network on Ethereum Classic. Just because I've been seeing many miners saying that they will probably be switching to that, and they'll be switching their ASICs over if it allows for it. However, no other mining coin will be able to even handle above 20 terahash onto their networks. This would ruin the profitability for pretty much all of the coins but Ethereum Classic. So it does look bleak for the short-term future, but I think that the first month it will start to settle down, but still will be unprofitable. There is one way to support this massive hash rate migration, and this is if the price of Ethereum Classic goes up. I think it needs to go up around tenfold for it to even become remotely profitable on 500 terahash on the network. This means that the price would have to sit around $300 per coin. Lastly, the Ethereum Classic team could also add MEV back onto the network. This would allow for more profits out of mining Ethereum Classic. Obviously, Ethereum Chain added in MEV, which gave miners a hefty amount of profits on top of their mining. Overall, the switch from Ethereum to Ethereum Classic is probably the best move, but you need to put a plan in place either to get the most efficient GPUs or think about getting into ASIC mining. Hopefully this video has helped you give an idea of what to do when the merge comes in. If it has helped you, then subscribe to the channel and like the video. Join the Discord for weekly updates on crypto mining and investing.